Welcome to the Rugby League Outsiders prediction video. Things are hotting up in the playoffs. This is the only prediction video that counts, in our opinion. My name's Craig.
And my name's Karl, and we're coming off probably the most exciting round we've had a Super League this year, if not one of the most exciting opening rounds of playoff rugby we've had. Be hard to disagree with that.
Absolutely belting games with some incredible skill on show, real nail biter. You've only got to look at the way that the Warrington game finished. You know, golden point, drop goal, George Williams stepped up, knocked it over. Really, really exciting. And I think looking at the fixtures this week, more of the same, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it all kicked off, didn't it, with Leigh at the weekend and Salford, and I think Robbie Mulhern took the first drive in, and the intensity level was set from that point. It was like, right, this is a marker of how the weekend is going to play out.
It looked like someone cut the footage because it just stopped so abruptly.
Yeah.
It was like, has he just gone into a different dimension or so? You know what I mean? It just absolutely just stopped dead in his tracks. And it was from that hit you thought, right, this is going to be a belter. And I thought it was going to boil down to the team that it could sustain that intensity for the whole period. And I think both teams did.
Yeah, I think Salford started with a little bit more intensity, didn't they? They seemed to be ready for it a bit more than Leigh. And certainly it felt like the first sort of 20 minutes, it kind of felt that Salford were going to get a grasp on the game and start gaining some momentum. But Leigh's intensity levels never dropped. And as it went into the second half, they kept going at that same sort of intensity. Building and building and building, and then it started getting to the point where Salford, it felt like they were running out of ideas a little bit, and Leigh got the upper hand.
Yeah, it was really exciting finish to the game, and obviously Leigh made it through, and we'll be playing Wigan this week. And look at the other game that went on; it really could have been anyone that walked away with the win.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get much more exciting than a drop goal to finish a game, can you? But it wasn't just the ending of that game, was it? It was all the way through the game. It was backwards and forwards. The skill on show was ace. St Helens, they finally brought it to the party, didn't they? What they really do have to offer Super League. I mean, this season they haven't been at their best, have they? But he felt it just as they got to the playoffs, it was that old sort of saying, "You never write off a sin." It's like, right, they're here now, they're going for it. I think Tommy Makinson, Percival were both class, but yeah, Warrington just had that little bit more, didn't they, to take the win.
I mean, a couple of tries were just incredible. On the Makinson's try, I don't know how he did that. He defied physics, and real nail. To say that it was Mark Percival's mistake that kind of, that allowed him to score.
But he did put the kick over from the sideline, a minute before, didn't he? So it was the hero and the villain all in one within the space of 2 minutes. Yeah, and Warrington, they learnt from the mistake, didn't they? They went for a drop goal, sort of 5 minutes before, didn't they? And I, as soon as I saw it, was like, he's not deep enough there in George Williams. Obviously, they charged it down, but then when they went for it again, a few minutes later, he was deeper in the pocket, slotted it over. Yeah, and what a finish to a game.
Okay, let's move on to this week's games then, which are incredibly mouthwatering in prospect. So first game is Friday, the 4th of October, kicking off at 8 o'clock. All right, so it's Hull KR versus Warrington at Hull KR.
Two teams who are so exciting attacking wise, and I suppose what I've taken away from this one straight away is I think it's going to boil down to who comes with the best defence, because these two teams can attack. They've got speed to burn on both sides of the field. They're very crisp in attack. The halfbacks are just, they control these teams so well, and the players, it's a real exciting brand of rugby. So I feel that whoever brings the bigger defensive effort might nick this one.
Well, let's look at the tail of the season then. So they've both won 5 out of the last 6, losing just one game in the last 6. And having played each other 3 times in the standard rounds of Super League, I can say that Hull KR have won 2 out of the 3, both one at home and one away, with Warrington taking the spoils when they played Hull KR at their place in the middle of the season, 9th of May. So we don't really get much from that either. You know, it really just throws it up again.
I mean,
even more.
there literally is nothing between these two teams. It's second versus third in the Super League, isn't it? And they've pretty been evenly matched all season. You got to start looking at things like big game experience and things like that, and Warrington, they've been in a Challenge Cup final this year, but they really came up short. I think the nerves sort of got the better of them. Hull KR, I think this situation's, you know, it's new to them, but they do have some big name players on there.
Yeah, and you're right. The other thing as well is quite often we can see winners come from the underdog. Well, neither of these has got an underdog title. Neither of these have got like the old stager title either.
No.
They're both hungry to win silverware this year, you know, and cement themselves in the top 4 of Super League, you know, if not the top 3. This is what makes it really exciting. You also look at, like, I mean, as we're recording this, we haven't had a lot of team news, you know, so if team news comes out throughout the week and we don't mention it because we don't know it, then we apologise for that. But this is just, you know, the way that time works, unfortunately. Well, we know Elliot Minchella's out.
Elliot Minchella's out, and that's I think that is real significant piece of information. With two teams that are so close, and it's so difficult to call. You know, he's Hull KR's Player of the Year, wasn't he, this year? He's had an awesome season. He's been consistent. And he's like that link between the forwards and the backs. He is that, you know, he plays.
But there's so much goes through him.
Yeah, he's such a pivotal role in that Hull KR side, and the fact that they don't have him could sway it one way or another for me.
That said, Dean Hadley is more than likely to step in as his replacement, and he had a belting game last week and has been great all season as well.
And one thing I would say with Hull KR, actually, he has had a great season. But one thing I would say with Hull KR is their forwards are playing sort of big minutes. I saw an interview with Danny Ward this week, and he was basically saying the team are reaping the rewards for the hard pre-season that we had. He says we've got a forward pack that know how to play big minutes. They don't have to roll the subs on and off, and their pack it's been really strong this year. I mean, on the back of an awesome backline as well. Could you say that about Warrington's pack? Do you think are the forwards and the backs? You know, who do you think is going to play the most pivotal part of this game?
Obviously, the forwards are essential to build a platform. You get. Just sort of casting my mind over the rest of the season, and maybe it's the case for Hull KR, I don't know, I've not seen enough stats and stuff like that, but Warrington's season seems, forward-wise, to have had a very broken season. So Musgrove was out, Paul Vaughan's been out, you know what I mean? There's been lots of injuries and a few little changes there. I can't think of any mega. James Harrison's been out for a while. You know, it just seems disjointed. I don't know if Hull KR's had a more stable season. I don't know. Like I said, maybe some of the fans can fill us in and tell us. But just thinking about it, I kind of think that Hull KR's season has been more stable in regards to the forwards. But like you say, without a solid platform from those guys, like the backs, as good as they are, you know, they're not going to be able to play. I think it's going to boil down to when you look at the stars on these teams. You know.
Well, they're in abundance.
Yeah, they are in abundance, and I think one thing that we have seen teams keep George Williams quiet or not give him the time and space that, you know, he just seems to create. If Hull KR can do that and all their stars fire, then I think they're in the great choice. I'd say one thing we've got to talk about in regards to setting a solid platform. Ryan Hall is going to be massive. Like the first, you know, likewise, all those outside backs that are going to probably more than likely, as we do in the modern game now, is play those first couple of drives. They're going to be massive. So they need a big game.
And Ryan Hall, one thing you could say about Ryan Hall, he is that guy who's been there, done it, got the T-shirt and knows how to win these big games. So you would have thought he's going to be a big influential voice in that changing room this weekend.
Well, and it's his last game. If they lose, this is his last game at Hull KR.
Yeah, but he's not going to be one.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So there's some individual stories that make players hungry this week.
Well, Matty Ashton scored his 30th try. This week, just looking at some of the players that are going to be on display in this, and you can see that we're going to have some awesome tries scored this weekend. Matty Ashton, Dufty and Thewlis are playing. You know, they're having incredible seasons. Toby King and Matty Ashton, just exciting. They've been exciting all year. Williams, Drinkwater, Danny Walker. It's like a star-studded side is this Warrington team. And then, we look at Mikey Lewis. He's going to be going up against Williams. That's mouth-watering. Peter Hicku's having an incredible season. Burgess. There's tries all over in this game, and that's why I think it's going to boil down to who has probably the tightest defence on the day. Okay, so here we go. What you got to call it, Karl? So who do you think is going to come out on top in this game? For one reason only, I'm going to go Warrington, and I think that's because Hull KR without Elliot Minchella, and I think that he's a it's a big move. You go for Warrington. I'm going to go for Hull KR. Well, okay, I'm going to go for Hull KR to make it interesting. Right. And I think Dean Hadley. I've always liked how Dean Hadley plays. He was a fringe player at other clubs, but I've always come on and been a bit of a super sub. And last week I just saw him almost come of age, and so I don't think many people can replace Elliot Minchella, but I think he can do a job, and I think he can do enough for Hull KR to win. If everybody else is thriving as well. One thing I'm just going to throw out to you there, I'm going to make you doubt yourself. If this goes down at the last couple of minutes, kicking game could be important. I think that's another reason I had tipped Warrington. Yeah, no, I get it. But I think you're not remembering like the kickers that Hull KR's got in its team as well. It's got, like you said, there's stars, all facets of the game in both teams. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go Hull KR. Right, let's move on to the game on Saturday, 5th of October, kicking off at 17:30. Now, last weekend almost caught me out with that little bit of an earlier start. So just be aware of that. 17:30, Wigan versus Leigh playing at the Brick Community Stadium. The Battle of the Borough. Yeah, this is it, isn't it? Stage 4? Is this fourth time they've played each other this season? Yeah, it will be. Well, so obviously Wigan have had that week off. That's something we haven't really spoken about yet. Is that an advantage having that week off? Or would you rather just be at that intensity level, where you just keep going? Because I suppose Leigh, the sort of last 6-7 weeks, they've just got better and better all season, haven't they? And to the point now where they're playing in these big games and they know how to grind these wins out. For me, Wigan are the favourites, clearly the favourites in this game. What are the stats? Have they won all 3 this year? Yeah, they've won all the time they've met. The sort of tail of the season so far is Wigan has won every game this season that they've played. 2 at home and 1 away. So and relatively convincingly. In fact, well, the most that they allowed Leigh to score this year was on the 4th of April. They scored 12 points. They won 40 points to 12. So that's a convincing win. So I mean, look, Wigan have been the favourites for the Super League title all year, I think, haven't they? And it's since their recruitment last year. You looked at their recruitment last year with Luke Thompson, and some of the players they brought in and retained, and you're like, Jesus Christ, there's going to be a formidable team. Interesting news out of Wigan this week. December has been given a 6-year contract. 6 year. I mean, that's massive. That's keeping the NRL away, isn't it? Well, I think that's the intention, isn't it? And interestingly, I saw Chris Radlinski was saying they already had him tied down to, I think, a 4-year contract, and they've extended it and increased his pay already because they can sort of see the worth of him, and he's going to be pivotal in this game. But going up against, like I say, Mulhern and Jack Hughes, that's a really strong Leigh forward pack. Asiata as well. Leigh have to play a perfect game to win this. They can't really make any mistakes. They'll get punished by Wigan. But they've definitely, if they bring what they brought to Salford and they can maintain that for the 80 minutes, who knows where we'll go with this game. I thought it was interesting that after the Salford game that Adrian Lamb was in tears, And I saw that. It suggests to me that there is a drive amongst that team where,
they won't just lie down and be the underdogs and play that role. They want to be contenders. And I think, like you said, they had a shaky start. They started to build sort of midway through the season. It's just been up and up and up. And it almost seems like a masterclass in peaking at the right time during the season. So that, coupled with the fact that there is some kind of drive and there's some emotion or something driving this squad forward from head coach down, to the 18th man and everybody around it, there is a chance. But like you said, they have got to be on fire, and it's unlikely, but there is a chance. Well,
if Edwin Ipape plays like he did at the weekend, he was absolutely cutting up the defence, wasn't he? That is one area I think Leigh could exploit if they're to stand any chance. I think he's got to have a good game, and it should be tight.
Yeah, both sides of the ball. If you start leathering some of their prolific runners, it's just going to make them think twice about and so that he needs to be getting out and just cutting Matty Ashton in half. So I know it's easier said that it's all right us sitting here saying do this, but it's a different thing on the pitch. But I completely agree. Right.
I mean, team news, I think Wigan are at absolute full strength. I don't think there's really anybody missing that you wouldn't expect to be in that squad. Josh Charlton won't be playing for Leigh, for obvious reasons, with his injury that he suffered at the weekend. Look, if we're going to put his predictions down, I think it'll be a good game, but I think Wigan will probably be too strong on this one.
Yeah, I'll go step forward. And I got some shit last week for never backing Leigh. And unfortunately, I can't back Leigh this week either. I would like to, but in the balance of things. But I just think Wigan are going to be too strong. And I even think it may be another convincing win for Wigan. I'm not sure this is going to be a close game unless they bring their A game. And
it's playoffs, though, mate. Anything can happen.
No, I know. They're going to be pulling out all the stops. But I just that's my call. What do you think? Let us know in the comments down below. If you've got interesting team news as it comes out, stick it down below. Let's get the conversation going. And Karl, any final words?
Our Set 6 show drops tomorrow, and we've actually got Derek Bowman on the show. We did a quick interview with him. He was at the women's game at the weekend. So if you want all the information on Lee Leopard's women's game in the National Championship, tune into our Set 6 show tomorrow.
And did he say anything about his shit jacket that you called him out on the other day, Karl?
No, I don't think he watched that.
Brilliant. Okay, so until the next show, take care.